Hello, we are delighted to have you here for a new Burda style video. We will show you how to make model 3B, which is on the cover of the number 3 May to June 2021 issue of Burda Easy. Together, we are going to make these gorgeous Bermuda shorts in God-certified organic cotton chambray. You can find it on the website of our partner C. Poly. These Bermuda shorts are comfortable and practical thanks to their relaxed fit, elastic waist, and side pockets. You can sew this piece anytime for any season by swapping out the fabric for something heavier like corduroy in winter or something light and airy for summer. Or add a chic masculine touch with striped gabardine. To sew this project, you will need matching thread, a safety pin, pins, a needle for your sewing machine, a needle to sew by hand, basting thread, sewing scissors, measuring tape, chalk or tailor's chalk, a pen, a ruler, a tracing wheel, Burda tracing paper, and elastic for which you'll find the dimensions in your magazine. And don't forget to take your measurements and compare these with the charts found in your magazine. This will allow you to determine which is the best size for you. Now cut pieces 1 to 4 from the pattern template number 3 and place these onto the fabric according to the cutting layout. Outline these pieces onto the fabric and add the seam allowances as defined in the model's instructions, as well as the different notches and markers. I'm using the tracing wheel and paper to transfer the pattern outlines and notches to the wrong side of the fabric. Before removing the needles from my cut pieces, I lightly place the paper underneath the fabric and run the wheel along the pattern and on the markings. Read the tracing paper instructions for more details. For all the stitching and raw edges, I'm using the Excellence 580 Plus sewing machine by Alma. I would suggest using a special overcast stitch for the raw edges, or if your machine doesn't have this, you can use a zigzag stitch. And if you have an overlock machine, feel free to use it for cleaner edges. Now I start with the pleats. I fold the front piece lengthwise, following the fold line indicated in the pattern. The right side of the fabric will be visible. Now, press. After this, I fold the pleat to the side in the direction of the arrow so it matches the pleat marking. I pin the pleat, but you can baste it along the upper edge if you'd like. Now on to the pockets. I match the pocket markings up with the side markings on the front and back pieces of the shorts, right sides together, and pin the edges. I then stitch the edges of the pockets, backstitch the ends, and press the allowances towards the pocket. I place the front and back pieces of the shorts together, right sides facing, and pin the sides, making sure that the pocket opening seams match. I stitch the side seams along seam 1 up the first notch and secure the seam ends by backstitching. Then I move on to the lower notch and stitch to the lower edge of the trousers before securing with a backstitch. I neaten the allowances and press them open, then I press the pockets towards the front. I then pin and sew them together, starting and ending at the pocket's opening stitches and backstitch both ends. I neaten the allowances together and pin the top of the pocket edge to the front of the shorts. You can baste here. Now I move on to sewing the inner leg. I place the front piece onto the back piece, right sides together, and pin the edges. I then stitch the allowances starting from seam 2, neaten them, and press apart. Now I match up the side seam with the inner leg seam with the right side visible and pin. I make sure that the pleat is exactly on the fold and press the fold onto the back pleat up to approximately 15 centimeters or 6 inches before the upper edge. Now on to the center seam. I place one leg inside the other, right sides together, making sure that the inner leg seams match before pinning the front and back center seam. I then sew them together, neaten the edges, and press them apart, starting at the upper edge and stopping at the curve. Now, the waistband. I fold the narrow waistband edges right sides together, Stitch only to the center fold and secure the seam ends. I press the allowances apart, including the open edges. Then I fold the waistband in half lengthwise, wrong sides together, and pin the edges together. I place the waistband edges onto the upper edge of the shorts with right sides together, making sure the seams match, and pin. I also make sure the waistband is on the inside. I stitch the waistband, neaten the allowances together, and press them downwards. Now the last steps, the elastic and the hem. I poke the edge of the elastic with a safety pin and pull this through the waistband opening. I then sew the ends of the elastic band and close the openings of the waistband with a few stitches by hand. I neaten the lower trouser's edge, press inwards, and stitch at 3 centimeters or 1 1/4 of an inch from the edge. You can also sew the hem by hand using the hem stitch if you'd like. And there you are, we're now ready for summer. Follow us on social media and share your creations. And subscribe to our channel to learn about our next tutorials. Burda Style thanks and recommends its sewing partner Elna and fabric partner C. Polly. Thank you for joining us and see you soon with a new Burda Style tutorial.